Hi everyone, my name's Lily and I'm the book reviewer behind Utopia State of Mind, and today I'm going to be bringing with you the February Librofm sales. So, if you didn't know and if you're new here, every month I go through the Librofm sales and I recommend to you some and I tell you some that are on my TBR. If you didn't know what Librofm is, it is an independent audiobook subscription service. You pay per month to get 1 credit, and you can also buy sale books a la carte. That's what I talk about in this video. If you're an active member, you will get an additional 30% off. You don't have to be a member to buy these a la carte audiobooks, and all the links in the description box will be affiliate links. If you don't want to do that, then please just search them because they are a great deal specifically this month, and then you can still do it without using my affiliate code. So the first playlist I want to talk about is the Kiss Club playlist, and we're starting off incredibly strong with Gay the Prey Away, which I actually read on audiobook. It is narrated by my favorite audiobook narrator, Natalie Naudus, which is why I had to get it, but also it's written by Natalie Naudus. I have been following Natalie Naudus as an audiobook narrator for a really long time, and I'm very excited for this one. And it was really, really good. I listened to it on audiobook, so Chef's Kiss was so fabulous. But it's about kind of challenging our own conceptions. Our main character grows up in a cult. So not only is she kind of trying to figure out how to be true to herself, especially when she ends up meeting another girl who she starts to have feelings for, basically. So it's about sort of self-discovery. It's a romance book in the fact that a lot of it is also sort of revolving around their romantic relationship and their romantic feelings. And it was just really emotional. I shed a tear basically at the end of this, and it was really fabulous. The next one is the Dating Playbook, which I think it's actually a sort of interconnected series with also the Boyfriend Project. And the Dating Playbook is a character who is a personal trainer. She ends up trying to train a former footballer. She ends up trying to train a former footballer who wants to kind of get back into the NFL, and obviously sparks fly. So I've really enjoyed that one. I've really enjoyed Farah Roshan's books in general, and the Dating Playbook, I think, maybe the first one I read, and then I had to go back and read The Boyfriend Project, and I definitely have read the third one, which I'm not sure what the third one is. Maybe The Hookup Plan is the third one. I did also read Pardon My Frenchie by Farah Roshan, and I really enjoyed that one too. So anyway, definitely have to recommend that one if you love romance books. And also February, because of Valentine's Day, there was a lot more romance books in the Kiss Club playlist, which is the curated playlist from Librofm. So we have a bunch to get through. There is also Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. I've read a bunch of Anita Kelly books in the past. Love and Other Disasters is about a first openly non-binary contestant on a cooking show on TV. And they end up falling for another competitor in the cooking TV show. And so it's kind of like a romantic comedy, essentially. It is really, really cute. I think that yes, this is also a series. And I think that the second one is Something Wild and Wonderful, which I read and enjoyed. And then the last one is How You Get the Girl, which I have not read. I love cooking shows, even though I don't really watch them currently. I'm not really good at keeping up on cooking shows, but whenever I pass one, I always have to look at one because I enjoy it. I love the feeling of hominess, I guess. And so Love and Other Disasters definitely fits the bill if you love cooking shows and romance books. Then we have Red String Theory, which is probably my favorite Laura Kung Jessen book. In general, not only is this book about star-crossed lovers, one of them is an artist, and she has this idea about this red string of fate that connects her and the other person on the end of the red string of fate. And what I loved was how beautifully woven it is. Like, it feels like it's a contemporary romance, but it also feels almost a little bit mystery-esque because there is sort of this mystery fantasy element kind of to the idea of a red string connecting two people. So I kind of liked that it has sort of implicit genre bending and genre questioning in this one. It was super swoony. And so one of the main characters is an artist, and she believes in the red string of fate, and the other one does not believe at all, basically. And so it allows them to kind of go. I can't really talk about it more because there are spoilers if I keep discussing it. But anyway, I really enjoyed that one. The next one is Happy Endings. I enjoyed Happy Endings. Not only is it read by Emily Wuzeller, which is another of my favorite audiobook narrators. This is a debut novel. It came out a while ago, but it was the debut at the time. And it was a second chance romance about exes. And so basically, as I said, they're second chances. And one of them, the main character runs a sex toy business, and then she ends up running into her ex, and he dumped her on a post-it note. I remember this so vividly. He dumped her on a post-it note because she's in New Orleans, and she ends up walking into his family's soul food restaurant. And so they decide that they want to partner together to make a vibrator pop-up shop for hungry and horny clients. I'm literally reading this from the Librofm synopsis. It was really fun, and I enjoyed this a lot. It was also kind of, you need to figure out why he dumped her in a post-it note, because very much from the beginning it kind of seems like one of those red flags or one of those things where you're like, how are you going to come back from this? So I enjoyed that one, and that brings us to the end of the Kiss Club portion. I'm going on to the YA Club. This is another curated playlist from Librofm. The first one is Cinderella is Dead. If you haven't read a book from this author before, Cinderella is Dead is a great one to start with. It is the first one, I feel like, that this author wrote. Anyway, though, it is a retelling of Cinderella, but I think what I really loved about this retelling is how it kind of transforms and transcends what you're expecting. I love that this retelling brings diversity. I love when a retelling adds something new to the conversation and often challenges the overwhelmingly kind of cis-straight white perspective. And so that is why I really enjoy Cinderella is Dead. And in general, this author has written so many different books that I've enjoyed that have been different in other ways. There's also Sleep Like Death, which is another retelling. Kaylin also did a retelling of Jekyll and Hyde. This Poison Heart also has mythological elements. So in general, I really enjoy the entire work. The next I want to talk about is Shayna Linde. This is the prequel to Alatsoe, and I really enjoyed this one. It's been a while since I read this book where how do I describe it? It's not a sequel because it came out first, but this is a prequel. So it's been a while since I read the original one, I guess. But I really like that this makes the world feel really expansive, really magical. The relationship that the main character Shane has with her mom, and also kind of the friendships that are created as well throughout this book, and also the way that the past is discussed, were all really fantastic, and it reminded me why I really have enjoyed Darcy Little Badger's books in the past. Then we have the Kinsey Project. I have not read this one. This is one on my TBR, and I have this one on audiobook as well, but I really enjoyed Jessica Pereira's other book before this. What is it called? Ruby Ramos's Recipe for Success. So that's why this one is on my TBR. Basically, the main character tries to get an internship with a local lifestyle party planner person, except she needs to have party planning experience before she can get her internship. And how will she do that? She decides to book a quinceañera for a vlogger. So that is the premise of the Kinsey Project, and I'm very excited for that one. As I said, I also have the audiobook as well, so even more excited, I guess. The next one we have, and the last one on the YA Club playlist, is This Night Is Ours by Ronnie Davis. I have read Ronnie Davis books before in the past, so this one is definitely on my TBR, and it's basically the summer before college, which always gets me. I love this moment of change, this precipice of being on the cusp of change. And so the main character has been accepted to nursing school, but she wants to be an artist. So that is the main character journey, and basically there in the summer before college, she ends up also starting to have to come into more contact with her annoying classmate from high school who wants to be an actor. So really intrigued by that one. As I said, it is on my TBR. And I want to chat now about other audiobooks that are on sale from the sale list. These are ones that maybe have not fallen into the other categories of YA or Kiss Club. And as I said, those ones are also curated as well. The first one is Single Player, which I'm actually listening to right now. I pre-ordered this one, and it's two video game creators who have a queer, okay, it says enemies to lovers. They're not like, we were talking about this on my panel last weekend, I guess, that I'll link below in YA to Romance panel, but they're not enemies, okay? If at best they had a bad, like, meeting moment, at best they're sort of one thinks the other one is annoying and maybe rivals, but like, they're not enemies. I don't know. I think it's a stretch to say enemies. Maybe rivals. Maybe insecurities about our own job and our own, and letting that kind of impact how we see another person. Whatever that one is, basically. They work in a video game company. If you're a video gamer who also loves romance, or if you are interested in that topic, this is really fun, or is really fun because I'm reading it now, to kind of see the ways that from the back end, things are kind of discussed and frameworks are sort of built, not like a coding perspective, but in a story perspective. So I really enjoy this one. Basically, the main character is kind of the lead developer for a game, and then investors or the corporate people are like, you have to put more romance in your game to appeal more towards women, and they end up hiring Kat, and she is in charge of romantic subplots and romantic plots. And so that's kind of the rivalry, I guess, is like the main character Andy, or one of the main characters because it's dual perspective, Andy doesn't want to, but Kat really genuinely loves that and genuinely loves the game as well. So it's not like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to continue on. The next one is I Think They Love You, which was really, really cute because not only is this a kind of exes second chance lovers reunite fake dating mix, which I really enjoyed, and also I chatted with Julian on the panel that I've linked below already, but I think it also talks about self-discovery and kind of realizing that we can think we're on one path and what happens if we're not. So basically, one of our characters, he works at a party planning business with his family. It's a family business. And so there's a running for CEO, and no one is really kind of like taking him seriously. So he decides to do that. He's going to show that he's a commitment person, and he's now committed. He has a partner. And so enter in his also ex, who he's like, yes, I'm definitely still and or redating this ex. So that's the ex's second chance fake dating, I guess, element to it. But throughout the whole book, the main character, Denzel, has to really kind of figure out, does he really want this anymore? Either to not be dating that person and also to be working in his family's business. The next one is How to End a Love Story. And we've chatted before in this video already about characters where you're like, it's a hard sell to see how I could see you together. And How to End a Love Story is very much this way. It is a dual narration. Basically, one of the main characters, Helen, her sister died in a tragic accident. It turns out that the other main character, Grant, is involved or was involved in that. And that makes it really difficult for them. Not only does her family have very strong feelings towards the other main character, Grant, but also she has strong feelings, and it's kind of all tied up with grief and loss and her own feelings about her sister. They end up kind of meeting again in a professional way, and I feel like it's that thing, like, do we tell people we know each other, or do we pretend we don't know each other? We have definitely kind of that trope or that element, and in general, they kind of have to think about how they navigate their relationship and how they navigate the adaptation of her, she's an author, the adaptation of her book into, I think, a TV or into a movie. Yeah, and into a TV adaptation. And he is the scriptwriter, I think, for that one. So if you kind of are a fan of those books, if you're like, how is this going to happen? That's that one as well. The next one is Blood of Hercules, which I only mentioned because I've been seeing this everywhere. I don't know what it's about. I've just been seeing it everywhere, and I wanted to mention it in case you love audiobooks. It has 4 narrators, And that I love that. And it is basically a dark fantasy romance reimagining of Hercules, where I guess it's also gender bent because maybe she is Hercules, I think. But anyway, it is on sale for a really good price. I've been seeing this everywhere, also a special editions everywhere, so I'm incredibly tempted to pick this one up just to kind of see what the hype is about. Next, we have The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, which I haven't read. It is a Dream Harbor book. I've also been seeing the hype for this one everywhere. It is kind of this cozy romance series, I guess, and specifically in the Bun Bookstore, she ends up finding hidden secret messages in the pages of the books. She has to find someone to help her out, and it ends up being a fisherman who is up for helping a scavenger hunt. I'm not exactly sure because I have a really hard time reading this on Librofm what the order is for the Dream Harbor series, and maybe there's no specific order, but anyway, intrigued by this one because of the hype, and it's also a great sale price. The next one is The Charm Offensive, which I really enjoyed. We have a lot of books so far in this video that have TV themes. The Charm Offensive is a one where one of the characters is a tech character, and he has to go on to this dating show to kind of, I don't know if it's kind of revamp his image or whatever, but he ends up being on the dating show, and he has I don't know what it's called, personal assistant. It's not a personal assistant. He has a person on set who kind of has to help him make sure he's where he needs to be and everything. And then they have sparks. What is his actual role? Producer? Maybe he's a producer. I'm not actually sure what his actual role is. But anyway, they have sparks, and they kind of have to figure out what to do with that because his spark person is on a dating show, a reality TV dating show. So that was really, really fun to read. I want to also mention Iron and Embers, which I've been chatting a lot about social media because it's like my latest fun, sort of nostalgic, but not nostalgic because it's new delve back into more fantasy, and it is the first in the spin-off series, The Ashes of Thesmar. This is the spin-off series to the Legends of Thesmar series. If you love alchemy, if you love characters who would do better maybe with alchemy, poisoner, assassin vibes, also deadly competitions to kind of find out how you be the best in these kind of people, and you also have a bodyguard-esque romance as well, which is filled with a bunch of angst. The cliffhangers at the end, wow. The sequel to this one also comes out later in the year, so you don't have to wait very long, but it is on sale now. Next, we have The Cat Who Saved Books, which I've mentioned a lot is on my TBR. I own this book already. I've gotten it already, mostly because it is just all over the place for if you love like cozy Asian fiction, translated fiction in general. And it is I've talked about this already so many times. But anyway, the main character ends up wanting to close the secondhand bookstore that he inherits from a family member, and a talking cat appears. And the talking cat asks the teenager to help save the books. So, it is up my alley, and that's why it is here. The next one is Perfume and Pain, which is also in my library, and it's read by Natalie Naudus. That is why it's in my library. And it is about an LA author who is trying to find true love. I also loved that it says it's a hilarious nod to 1950s lesbian pulp fiction. That's all I really had to know before picking this up, and also narrated by Natalie Naudus. But anyway, the main character loves perfume bottles. She has a perfume bottle collection, and so she's trying to revamp her career after a series of unfortunate events, I guess, which happen, and then she ends up sort of meeting someone who is a grad student researching 1950s lesbian pulp who smells really good. That's basically the premise, I guess. The next one I want to chat about is The Wren and the Holly Library, which I've also seen around. I own it on my shelf in special edition form because they were so gorgeous, but I have not read it yet. So this one is basically about a hidden kind of library within New York City. It's fantasy, contemporary, I guess, urban fantasy. There's like a monsters treaty. There's this magical library as well. And there's going to be some sort of dangerous bargain in it. I haven't read this one, but been seeing it everywhere. And if you're in the same boat, join me. There's also The Emperor in the Endless Palace, which is in my library, is on my TBR. I haven't read. That's part of the purposes of this video, is kind of shame me into reading books that I've already bought that I haven't read yet. But basically, it is kind of about a queer romance told over a variety of different lifetimes, I think. It is a romantasy. They have, they have 3 minimum different timelines where these two characters come together time after time and have to figure out what is happening, I guess, and also that they love each other. I haven't read this, so I'm not as sure if they remember each other in every timeline, but timeline manipulation gets me every single time. So very excited for this one. We also have The Duke Gets Desperate by Diana Quincy. I've wanted to read a Diana Quincy book for a very, very long time. This is on sale. It is a book 1. It is a historical fiction romance. There's an Arab American woman who inherits a rundown castle and a duke who asserts that the castle is his. So I'm going to get this. I'm really excited for it. I've been meaning to read a Diana Quincy romance book in the past or for a while, and so I'm very excited for this one. It came out in 2023, and I will be getting that one. Next, we have The Temptation of Magic, which is a book that I've seen a lot around on social media, and it is kind of like, if you liked A Discovery of Witches, this has similar vibes. We have witches and sort of secret magic society in vibes, I guess. But basically, the main character and her family have been hiding from this kind of like magical organization, and we're not exactly sure why. They kind of are this governing supernatural organization, and if they find out that she has this really, really rare magic, she's going to be in trouble, I guess. And so it's like that, and it's also about her uncovering a message in an art collection that has like an academic vibe to it. So I really enjoyed this one, and I will read the second one, because I think it's a series. We also have Begin Again, which is in my library. It's on my TBR. There's some timey-wiminess to it. It's about kind of the idea of changing the past and the results of choices that you haven't taken, and kind of what would happen in these kind of parallel universes. So much up my alley. I'm excited by this one where you offered a second chance. It kind of has Midnight Library vibes to the synopsis. And then we have Full Speed to a Crash Landing, which if you love fun, entertaining, somewhat spicy, swoony novellas that are science fiction with bounty hunters who say that they don't want to do, like that they're not in it for the good, they're not in it for saving the world, but also they'll save these people, they'll help these people if they have to. If they happen to just be on the bounty hunter way, that's for you. The sequel is really fabulous. Read all of them before the third one comes out this year. Let me know what you are currently listening to on audiobook. I hope you have a really great rest of your reading day, week, month, and 2025 year. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.